What is the Force?
Fill me in.
Can you fill me in? Intros and that. My name's Marley.
My name's Callum.
And we are about to film you in. It's film. I know, you're right.
Right, okay.
We're just going to keep doing reviews for as long as you guys might watch them. You can subscribe to our videos if you like them. We're on various different channels, so you can catch us on YouTube, Instagram, Grindr,
Facebook.
Okay, so Solo, it is a Star Wars story.
You are correct, you've read the title. Well done.
That's about as far as I got.
Okay, have you seen a Star Wars before?
I have seen a Star Wars before, and I couldn't tell you which one it is.
It's good.
There were people in a
space?
A desert. They weren't in space. They were on some kind of planet.
Okay, that's
It
vague.
looked like Arizona.
Sure. Oh yeah, that's Star Wars Episode 1, Arizona edition.
Luke Skywalker, Darth Maul, Darth Vader, R2-D2, C-3PO-3-D3.
Yeah.
And Princess Letitia.
Yeah, Princess Letitia. I thought the film was very good. It gave us an indication as to where Han Solo came from. I'm a fairly big Star Wars fan. I'm not as big a fan of people I know. The guy that played Han Solo, let's call him Aiden Von Erich.
Elder
Scrolls.
Eldon Eldenson.
Yes. I thought that he had a high bar to try and jump over, but I think he met it. But he wasn't trying to be Harrison Ford. He was being his own character, but sort of like an homage to Harrison Ford's older Han Solo, as we see later on in the film franchise, obviously. Obviously. And then I thought, no matter what film it is, it could be Hunger Games, it could be a Star Wars film.
Woody Harrelson.
It is Woody Harrelson. I love Woody Harrelson.
I love Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
I think he's honestly one of the most underrated and greatest actors.
I'm glad you agree. He pulled the film together. He's the sort of glue that held the film together, really. Probably the second best character, next to Donald Glover's Lando Calrissian, who was just awesome. Look, the guy's on fire at the minute.
I'm not 100% convinced by Donald Glover in this film.
Right.
Like, I'm a big Donald Glover fan, musically and in terms of acting.
Okay,
I was a huge Community fan.
Also,
And is it because I don't know Lando?
I think it's because you don't know Lando. If you were to watch the film and watch Billy D. Williams' Lando, you would go, that's pretty much a perfect sort of
okay. Because I did think, like, I got the cockiness and I got the whole sort of very sure of himself type vibe, and I thought that played off quite well. But just, I don't know, in terms of like believability,
I would say that the way they've written the character as a sort of, obviously the younger version of him, I think they've done it a bit more flamboyant and sort of, you know, I think I may have read that he's pansexual or something like that, so maybe it's that sort of flamboyancy and sort of arrogance that may influence it. But if it's just sort of his mannerisms and, you know, he does put on a voice, I think it's pretty much perfect to Billy D. Williams' original Lando.
I thought his relationship with the robot name L3, I thought that was great. I thought that played out really well. I thought she was amazing as well as a character.
The actress was very good, and you know, the relationship between Lando and L3 was fantastic. But in terms of the newer sort of Star Wars film universe they're bringing out, these sort of in-between films, to the gap fillers, I feel like they are relying too heavily on a sassy droid.
In reality, there would be a very diverse idea of personalities among droids. Do you think that they're just trying to show that they're not all sort of subservient? That's exactly the word I was thinking of. Whether they're just trying to show that robots now, at this point, they're so far developed that they're actually capable of experiencing humour and sadness and whatever.
I understand what you're saying, But in terms of, if we're looking at it chronologically, these droids wouldn't be as advanced as the ones that they are when they come out in the 70s. If we're looking at, because Han Solo is set between Episode 3 and Episode 4. I think it's set about 10 years after Episode 3.
Okay.
So if we're looking at it in the bigger timeline, then if you're saying that these robots are just droids, just sort of subservient, and then later on they become sort of self-aware and their own sort of character, then we're only very sort of towards the middle point of it.
Okay, so they might be too far in that direction in terms of
I just felt
technology in the fake universe.
I mean it's not even that, but I just feel like they are relying too heavily on the sassy droid character as the pseudo comic relief. And
do you think that's off the back of how things such as the Marvel franchise have gone since I guess the first Iron Man was probably the first real funny superhero movie. And they realised how popular that was as a concept.
Are you telling me that Ghost Rider isn't a comedy?
That first Iron Man officially really was the first one to do that.
It's the starting block.
And you feel as though they saw the success of that and thought, oh, okay, maybe this franchise doesn't need to be really cheesy and lame. We don't need that Tobey Maguire and what's her face
dancing.
What's Kirsten Dunst? Does that Kristen?
Kristen? Deadpool reference.
Deadpool reference. Kristen. We don't need that horrible sort of cheese and let's make it appeal to a wider audience and that kind of stuff. And maybe Star Wars has kind of seen that.
I do agree. I mean, they are owned by Disney, so maybe they sort of have this sort of family inclusion, and the comic relief does seem always to be a droid because they don't want to have a sort of main character in the universe as just like a walking joke.
And L3, I'm never going to remember that. It's like one letter and one number, and I'm not going to remember.
Too much to remember.
They came, another spoiler alert, they came up with a way of continuing her personality.
Absolutely,
nothing else. So they can sort of still keep that going. If you're going to create such a big character, perhaps don't then kill that character off
straight away. But I suppose they had to, because that L3 character is not in Episode 4, so they have to find some way of, they have to kill him off effectively. Otherwise,
that's true, because it's already predestined.
Yes, you're right.
Speaking of comedy, Tandy Newton.
What a hilarious character she is!
Funniest character in it.
Yeah, purely because she can't act.
I don't think she can't act. I think it was particularly dire in this film.
Well, she just felt really wooden.
Yeah, the whole thing.
There's a whole thing on the bridge just before she, detonates the bridge with herself on it. It's been a ride, babe.
Yeah.
If I was directing, I'd be like, can you do that again with, some actual passion?
She wasn't.
It's been a ride, babe. It's been a ride, babe.
It's been a ride. You try emphasising each syllable.
Ah, yes.
I just think that she was just seriously naff in this film.
Just chewed the scenery, didn't she, really?
But
she died.
I've said it to you before. It does seem like for some reason she's better at playing someone who isn't British than she is at playing someone with a British accent, even though she's British. And I can't really work that out.
No.
So that's Tandy Newton. One thing I did think was really cool was, even though I've not been a Star Wars fan, I felt the the majesty of
the grandeur
of the first viewing of the Millennium Falcon. When we saw that, I thought, this is really cool. I kind of felt the significance of it because I'm familiar with it, because you can't not be familiar with it.
Yeah.
The reveal was really good. I really enjoyed that part of it, and the way that sort of played out.
I was excited to watch it going in, and then the first sort of 10 minutes or so, it did make me slightly worried, because I thought it was going to be like Star Wars The Fast and the Furious, because of that whole opening sort of drifting scene and stuff.
And
I was
that Tokyo vibe.
Yeah, it was sort of Star Wars Tatooine drift. And I was like a bit nervous, but then as the rest of the film went on and Woody Harrelson turned up, I was pleasantly surprised. Who else? Paul Bettany. I thought he's a very good villain.
Yeah,
he's got that because he's got the sort of the very well-spoken English accent, and he's very large.
Typically, villains are English.
Yeah, all villains are English. But he's got that sort of overbearing presence as well, and especially with the scars on his face that turn red when he's angry.
Yeah, I thought that was quite cool.
Yeah, it was quite a cool thing, and yeah, he was like a really good villain, even though again he died.
Like almost like split personality, where he'll go from being
nicey nice,
really, really, oh man, I love you,
like, oh, how are you? I'm sorry for your loss,
like
and then,
very touchy-feely, but I will kill you if
you mess me about, I will kill you.
And I felt like that was that was played quite well. There were lots of sort of twists and turns and things that you wouldn't expect to have happened, and then people double crossing and all kinds of stuff.
So, although you like that, I got kind of annoyed by it because I felt like it was like too many twists. Like
towards the end,
to about,
the whole like Woody
twists.
Harrelson got a little bit kind of.
He was like, "I'm the good guy," but wait, I'm the bad guy, and now you think.
But then the outcome is I am my own person.
Yeah,
don't trust
I'm
anyone.
the anti-hero, and blah blah blah. But then, like curveball, turns out that Daenerys Targaryen, Emilia Clarke. She's the villain the whole time because she's got some shady goings on.
Yeah,
even though it wasn't explained. But now she is working for Darth Maul. Obviously, in episode 1, have you seen that one?
I don't know which one I've seen.
Okay, it's the one with
I've
Liam
seen
Neeson.
Solo.
Right.
That's the one. That's the one film I can categorically say that I have seen.
Okay, so in episode 1, The Phantom Menace, Darth Maul.
Liam Neeson, is that the one?
Yeah,
where
he's got a stick-on beard, and he's like,
"I will find you.
I don't know who you are.
I don't know who you are.
Where you're from. I know what you did, just as long as you love me."
In episode 1, the climactic ending is that Darth Maul gets cut in half.
Spoiler alert, I'm not seeing it yet.
Well, the film is 18 years old, 19 years old, mate, so you're a bit late to the party. He gets cut in half and falls down a pit, but then they sort of pick that story up in the Clone Wars, the animated series, where it turns out that he was alive the whole time and he's now got sort of metal prosthetic legs. I'm not sure, I haven't really watched it that much, but I don't know if he uses the Force to keep his legs on track or if there's some sort of robotic legs. Marley?
What is the Force? There wasn't much reference to the Force in this.
Because no one's a Jedi in it.
Okay, so there's no Force.
There is.
Because I know
the
that
Force
phrase
exists. The Force is like this omnipresent, omnipotent sort of feeling, and some people are sensitive to the Force, which means they can tap into it and use it, and others aren't sensitive.
Oh.
So, some Jedis or Siths can concentrate it so they can self-heal and stuff like that. But basically,
so is Wolverine a Jedi?
Yeah, I really like the sort of look of the sort of trench trooper. I'm going to call it a trench trooper because it was very reminiscent of like an actual World War One sort of style of
even their
dress.
helmets.
Yeah, the helmet like that was it. That was what. Yeah.
Like in World War One.
Yeah, I think that's where the term stormtrooper comes from. I don't know if it's World War One or Two. I'm not 100% of my history, but stormtrooper comes from.
Because isn't there like there's supposedly there are parallels?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The two. Corellia, the stormtrooper that was patrolling on that really cool looking motorbike, by the way.
It looked like a Magnum.
It kind of looked, it did. It kind of looked like, I don't know, like a bit of shrapnel.
Yeah.
That he just jumped on.
Like a fridge.
Yeah.
That floated.
Like a Smeg fridge.
Yeah, that's it.
That floated. Okay, so who's the Emperor? Does he strike back?
No.
He does, because there's a whole
He's
thing
the
about
one that sort of sits in the chair with the hood up and goes.
Oh yeah, no, I do know who he is.
Good.
He's the one in Family Guy.
Young Skywalker.
Very good impression, I think.
I wouldn't know.
Is there anything you didn't like about it?
Apart from Tandy Newton.
Apart from Tandy Newton, because if you're watching this, Tandy, we all hate you.
That's not fair. We don't. I don't know. I came out thinking, you know what? That was very good and potentially inspired to actually make an effort to watch more
I think you're
of the
absolutely
movie.
right.
Production was great.
Yeah,
The
set pieces, action sequences are great.
Absolutely stunning. The cinematography was beautiful. The special effects were amazing.
I was going to say the special
At no
effects
point
were
did
very
I
good.
think that looks really
But
crap.
I also think they you could tell they put a lot of effort into practical effects as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Where they only had to sort of use CGI, where it's absolutely necessary. You could tell they put practical effects like for most of it.
For the most part, the acting was good. Storyline was good.
What would you rate it out of? I'm going to rate it out of scarred full Bettany's, and I'm going to give it 4 scarred full Bettany's out of 5.
4 out of 5. I thought we were doing these out of 10.
I'm doing it out of 5. You can do it out of 10.
I'm going to do it out of 10. I would give it 7 out of 10.
7 scarred full Bettany's,
and I think that's a very fair review.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely agree. So if you like this video, guys, we're going to be doing some more in the coming sort of weeks as and when films coming out. Our next one will probably be Jurassic World. If you like it, share with your friends, you know, like us on Facebook. We've got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. Maybe subscribe to our channel. I mean, this is only our first video, so we have filmed you in.
We have filmed you in. Yeah, also, do Wookiees eat people?
I don't think so. I think they just rip people's arms off.